Originally called Warrnambool Institute of Advanced Education, or WIAE, the club was founded in 1977 for the students of the institute as a recreational club outside of the institute. However, in 1992, when the institute changed its name to Deakin University, the club adopted the name. The club folded in 2017, with its final season in 2016 because of lack of student numbers at the university. The club played their home games at the Pond at the university and DC Farron Oval in Mortlake. The club never won a senior premiership, but came close 3 times, finishing as runners-up in 1990, 2000 and 2001. However, the reserves team had more success, winning a premiership and finishing as runners-up twice. In 2006, the club partnered with Mortlake to form Mortlake Junior Sharks, which served as a junior program for the team. One of the club's most memorable traditions was the Shark Shuffle, a solitary dance performed in the mud whenever the team won. As you can see inside the club rooms, the club wore a Hawthorn-like design before switching to the blue and yellow design. You can even see their 40-year Guernsey, which they wore in their last season. It is sad to see a club fold, even one with little success such as Deakin Uni. But here is a compilation to finish off the video, and as the Sharks say, shuffle on. The Dennington Football Club was formed in 1909 by local factory workers who played a game at Dennington Oval. In 1910, Dennington played in the Western District Football Association for 1 year. From 1921 to 1923, the club played in the Western District Junior Football Association. In 1924, Dennington became a fanning club of the Ward District Football Association, competing under the name Dennington Ward. From 1924, the club changed its name back to Dennington. Since 1953, Dennington has competed in the Warrnambool District Football League, where it has won 4 senior flags and a reserves flag. The team play at Dennington Recreation Reserve, wearing a red Guernsey with a white monogram. Anyway, that's all the information I could find on Dennington Dogs Football Netball Club. Now here is a compilation to wrap up the video. Go Dogs! Yeah guys, it's just me again. Welcome to another video. We are at Panmure Oval, home of the Panmure Bulldogs Football Netball Club. And yeah, anyway, let's get into the video. In 1919, Panmure Football Club was founded as the Panmure Blues. Just 2 years later, in 1921, the club entered the Garver competition, where they won their first senior premiership. Over the following years, Panmure played in several different competitions. In 1922 and 1923, they played in the Terang District Junior Football Association. In 1924, they became a founding club of the Ward District Football Association, competing as Panmure Ward. Then, in 1925, they played in both the Mount Warrnambool Football Association and the Western District Junior Football Association under the Panmure name. The club continued to move through various leagues, including the Ward District Football Association in 1927, the Western District Junior Football Association in 1928, the Hopkins Football Association from 1929 to 1930, the Pernem District Football Association from 1931 to 1935, the Mount Nerat Football League from 1937 to 1941. After World War II, Panmure re-emerged from the Pernem District Football Association from 1945 to 1947, before joining the Mount Nerat Football League, where they remained from 1948 until 1991. In the mid-90s, Panmure played in the Heytesbury Mount Narok Football League, after the Mount Narok Football League and the Heytesbury Football League merged until 1996. Then, in 1997, the club joined the Warrnambool District Football League and rebranded as the Panmure Bulldogs, where they still play today. Throughout their history, Panmure has claimed 8 senior premiership flags, winning flags in 1921 in the Garver competition, 1922 in the Terang District Junior Football Association, 1925 in the Western District Football Association, 1968 and 1979 in the Mount Narok Football League, 1997, 2001, 2002, 2012 and 2013 in the Warrnambool District Football Netball League. The reserves have also won a premiership in 2002. Panmure play their home games at Panmure Rec Reserve, also known as UDC Park, after one of their sponsors, the Union Dairy Company. Panmure wear a blue guernsey with 2 white hoops and 1 red hoop, sometimes with a white bulldog. From humble beginnings in 1919 to today, Panmure Football Club has built a legacy of passion, dedication and success. Here's to the future of the Bulldogs. Like, share and subscribe for more local footy history.
G'day guys, welcome back to another video. I'm not actually at the ground that I'm going to today. I'm actually at Davidson Oval. But yeah, we're going to do Hawksdale Recreation Reserve, home of the Hawksdale Macarthur Eagles, or one of their grounds anyway. This is actually, I've done this in 2-day blocks, so this one's a bit wet at the moment, but yeah, anyway, I'll see you soon.
The Hawksdale Macarthur Football Club has a proud and passionate history, beginning as 2 separate clubs, Hawksdale Cats and the Macarthur Demons. In today's video, we're focusing on the story of the Hawksdale Football Club. The Hawksdale Football Club was founded sometime in the early 1900s and played their home games at the Hawksdale Recreation Reserve. They were known as the Cats, proudly wearing navy and white, and quickly became a strong presence in the local football scene. Over the years, Hawksdale has competed in a number of regional leagues. They started in the Penshurst District Football Association in 1924, then moved to Eumerella Football Association in 1925 and 26. From 1927 to 1929, they played in the Port Fairy Football League. In the early 1930s, they joined the Caramel Football League, though the exact years are unclear. By 1933, they were playing in the Koroit District Football Association, and from 1946 to 1969, they returned to the Port Fairy Football League. Finally, from 1970 through to 1997, they were a part of the Minnanara District Football League. As a standalone club, Hawksdale enjoyed a solid run of success, winning 3 senior premierships. Their first came in 1966 in the Port Fairy Football League. They claimed 2 flags in the Minnanara District Football League, one in 1977 and another in 1988. In 1998, the Hawksdale Football Club merged with the Macarthur Demons from the South West District Football League to form the Hawksdale Macarthur Football Club. Since the merger, the new club, known as the Eagles, has competed in the Minnanara District Football League. They adopted the colours of blue, white and gold, and now share home games between the Hawksdale and Macarthur Rec Reserves. While the Eagles haven't yet secured a senior premiership since forming, they've come heartbreakingly close, making back-to-back grand finals in 2007 and 2008, only to fall short against the Tadiun Hawks on both occasions. Thanks for watching and taking the time to learn about the history of the Hawksdale Macarthur Football Club. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into country footy, make sure to like, subscribe and let me know which club I should cover next. Country clubs like the Hawksdale Macarthur aren't just about the game, they're about community, pride and tradition. And go Eagles.
Hey, do it, boy! I win carry
G'day guys, today we are going to go and see Noranda Rec Reserve, home of the Noranda Blues. Anyway, let's get into the video.
The Noranda Football Club has a rich history, with its origins dating back to the early 1900s. A significant milestone came in 1976, when Noranda merged with Noranda South, uniting the same ground at the Noranda Rec Reserve. Known proudly as the Blues, Noranda players don a distinctive navy jersey emblazoned with a white NFC monogram, a symbol of their proud heritage. Throughout its history, Noranda has competed in a wide range of leagues, reflecting the evolving landscape of regional football. They first played in the Murphy Trophy in 1911, before joining the Port Campbell Football Association in 1928. From there, they moved through the Southwestern District Football Association from 1929 to 1931, the Pernem District Football Association 1932 to 34, and returned to the Port Campbell Football Association in 1935. Between 1938 and 1952, they were part of the Pernem District Football League once again, before joining the Pernem Football League from 1953 to 58. In 1959, the league was renamed to the Pernem District Football League, where they competed until 1970. From 1971 to 78, Noranda played in the Pernem Heytesbury Football League, which changed its name to the Heytesbury Football League in 1979. Since 1992, Noranda have been a proud member of the Warrnambool District Football League. In 1995, discussions took place regarding the potential merger with Heytesbury Football Club, but the proposal ultimately didn't go ahead. Over the decades, the Noranda Football Club has built a legacy of success with an impressive tally of 19 senior flags. Their first came in 1935 in the Port Campbell Football Association. 9 flags were claimed in the Pernem Football League, Pernem District Football League era, with victories in 1944, 53, 54, 58, 59, 60, 62, 1964 and 1965. In the Pernem Heytesbury Football League, Heytesbury Football League, they added 3 more titles in 1977, 80 and 85. Most recently, they've enjoyed a golden era in the Warrnambool District Football League, winning 6 flags in 1999, 2016, 2018 and an impressive 3-peat in 2022, 23 and 24. And that's the incredible story of the Noranda Football Club, over a century of resilience, community and success. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into local footy history, don't forget to give this video a like, hit that subscribe button and comment below which club you'd like me to cover next. Until next time. G'day guys, welcome to another video. We are going to be looking at the story of Callora Narrat. And if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment what club you want me to do next. But yeah, anyway, let's get into it. Kollura Nurut Power, a club forged from rich tradition and powerful legacies. The Power was established in 2003, following a merger of two long-standing clubs, Kollura and Nurut. But the story didn't just start there. It represents four great clubs: the Sisters, Glenormiston, Nurut, and Kollura, each with its own unique and proud history. Formed in 1907, the Sisters first competed in the Bell Cup in the same year. From 1932 to 1962, they played in the Mount Nurut Football League, where they made their mark with 5 premierships, winning flags in 1933, 34, 38, 48 and 50. They wore a jumper similar to the Western Bulldogs, though it is unclear if they officially went by that name. Glenormiston, known as the Bombers, was established in the 1910s. They began in the Clements competition from 1912 to 1913, then entered the Nurut District Football Association in 1914. From 1932 to 1991, they were a strong competitor in the Mount Nurut Football League, claiming 9 premierships in 1937, 46, 54, 57, 59, 70, 78, 80 and 85. In 1991, they merged with Glenormiston Agricultural College, keeping the Glenormiston name. And in 1992, they merged again with Nurut to form Nurut Glenormiston College, though most people just refer to them as Nurut. Nurut has roots going back to the early 1900s, once known as the Bolsheviks during the 1920s, through to the late 80s before rebranding as the Swans. They were regulars across multiple leagues. They competed in the O'Meatley Trophy in 1905, Bell Cup 1907, and the Bell Toyne Cup, winning it in 1908. They played in the Clements Cup, Bright Hitchcock Cup, Nurut District Football Association throughout the early 1910s. They took part in the Hopkins Football Association, Terang District Junior Football Association, and the Yallock Football Association between the World Wars. From 1932 to 1991, they played in the Mount Nurut Football League, and in 1992, they merged with Glenormiston to become the Mount Nurut Bombers in the Heytesbury Mount Nurut Football League, until their final merger in 2002. Nurut was a powerhouse, winning 19 premierships, including the Bell Toyne Cup in 1908, Hopkins Football Association in 1922, 26, 29, 30 and 31, Mount Nurut Football League in 1932, 38, 49, 51, 52, 58, 61, 88 and 91. Heytesbury Mount Nurut Football League in 1992 and 2000. Formed in 1912, Kollura was known as the Magpies. They competed in the Clements competition and Nurut District Football Association in the early years, before joining the Mount Nurut Football League from 1932 to 91, and the Heytesbury Mount Nurut Football League from 92 to 2002. Kollura has one of the richest premiership legacies, with 25, including Clements Cup in 1912 and 13, Nurut District Football Association in 14 and 15, Mount Nurut Football League in 1947, and then a dominant stretch from 1960 to 66, plus more titles in 1971, 73, 76, 1983 and 84. In the Heytesbury Mount Nerit Football League, they won 4 straight from 1994 to 97. In 2002, Coolora and Nerit joined forces to become one club. And so, in 2003, the Coolora Nerit Football Club was born. Known as the Power, they now play their home games at Nerit Rec Reserve and compete in the Warrnambool District Football League. Since their formation, the Power have claimed 5 senior premierships in 2009, 10, 11, 17 and 2019, continuing the winning traditions of all the clubs that came before them. The Coolora Nerit Football Club is the product of over a century of country football history. It brings 4 proud clubs, all with deep roots and stacks of premiership success. Since 2003, Coolora Nerit has built a strong presence in the Warrnambool District Football League. A true powerhouse built on legacy, community and passion. If you've enjoyed this footy history deep dive, drop a like, leave a comment telling me which club I should cover next, and don't forget to subscribe for more footy stories from the heart of country Victoria. Go Power! The Terang Mortlake Football Club, proudly known as the Bloods, plays its home games across 2 iconic football grounds, the Terang Recreation Reserve and DC Farron Oval in Mortlake. The club was formed in 2002 after an alliance between the Terang Bloods and the Mortlake Cats, combining the proud traditions of both towns into one powerhouse club. Mortlake's football history began in 1882 when the club played its first match, a scratch game against Hexham, who was likely called the Swans at the time. By 1928, Mortlake had adopted the nickname Cats, but were also referred to as the Shirt Tearers, as opposing sides would often finish the game against them with their jumpers torn. Mortlake first tasted premiership glory in 1906, while competing in the Sheldrick Brewing Company Trophy, also winning it in 1907. The competition went through several name changes, becoming the Sir O'Hagan Trophy in 1909 and the small Morehouse Cullen Trophy in 1910. From 1911 to 1912, Mortlake played in the Corangamite Challenge Shield, and after World War I, they competed in the Corangamite Football Association from 1919 to 1922. They later joined the Warrnambool and Corangamite Football Association in 1924, then moved to the Western District Football League in 1925, before a short recess in 1926. In 1930, Mortlake became a founding member of the Hampton Football League, where they remained until 1998. In 1999, Mortlake merged with Darren Tigers to form the Western Lions. But the venture was short-lived, with only 2 wins before folding in early 2000. In 2002, Mortlake entered 2 alliances, one with Terang, creating the Terang Mortlake Bloods in the Hampton Football League, and the other with Warndoo, forming the Warndoo Mortlake Tigers in the Minnera District Football League. As a standalone club, Mortlake won 7 premierships, 1906 and 1907 in the Sheldrick Brewing Company Trophy, 1919 and 1922 in the Corangamite Football Association, and 1931, 1936 and 1975 in the Hampton Football League. Terang, proudly known as the Bloods, shared a similar early path. They played in the Sheldrick Brewing Company Trophy in 1906 to 07, moved to the Dotzer O'Hagan Trophy in 1909, and the small Morehouse Callan Trophy in 1910. From 1911 to 1915, they played in the Corangamite Challenge Shield, winning their first premiership in 1911. They returned after the war to play in the Corangamite Football Association from 1919 to 1923. Then moved to the Warrnambool and Corangamite Football Association in 1924, after a merger of the Western District Football Association and the Corangamite Football Association. In 1930, Terang was also a founding member of the Hampton Football League, staying there until 2002 with the alliance with Mortlake. As a standalone club, Terang won 12 premierships. The Corangamite Challenge Shield in 1911, 1920 in the CFA, WDFL in 1929, and an impressive 1932, 34, 55, 56, 67, 72, 79, 81, and 1995 in the Hampton Football League. Since uniting in 2002, the Terang Mortlake Bloods have competed in the Hampton Football League and have built a proud modern record, winning 3 senior premierships in 2004, 2005 and 2008. From humble beginnings in the late 1800s, through wars, league changes, mergers and great rivalries, the story of Terang and Mortlake is one of resilience, passion and community pride. Together as the Terang Mortlake Bloods, the club carries forward over a century of football tradition, representing 2 proud towns as one. If you've enjoyed learning about the history of the Terang Mortlake Bloods, make sure to like, subscribe and leave a comment telling me where you'd like me to go next. And remember, go Bloods! The Wongoom Recreational Reserve is home to the Wongoom Cricket Club, proudly known as the Goomers. It is situated just 8 kilometres from Warrnambool on Wongoom Road. The club was founded when a meeting was held at the Wongoom School in 1921. The meeting was attended by 11 local farmers with the aim to establish a sports facility for the Wongoom people to play cricket and football. One of those who attended was Mr. Henderson, who agreed to sell them 6 acres of land. the group approached the National Bank and secured a loan for the purchase. 3 trustees were appointed to guarantee the loan. They were Mr. J. Bell, Mr. J. Milliken, and Mr. C. Brown. By the early 1930s, Wangoom had established itself as a sporting town, with football, women's basketball, now called netball, and cricket teams, competing against other local teams as well as Warrnambool-based social clubs. Wangoom's 1932 women's basketball team competed against teams such as Allensford, Mapunga, Swinton Social Club, and Nestle Social Club. At that stage, Wangoom had 2 women's basketball teams, a football team, and a cricket team, all playing in local competitions. The Recreation Reserve had a large 3-room timber pavilion consisting of a women's change room, a men's change room, and a meeting room. The walls could be folded back to make one large room, which was used for community functions up until the 1950s, when the Wangoom Hall was built. Unfortunately, the building was demolished in the early 1960s. Wangoom's football teams had their most successful period in the late 1940s, winning a premiership in the Perniman District League and being runners-up on a number of occasions. The football club ended in the early 1950s due to a shortage of players and farming commitments of many of the local men. Wangoom's cricket teams were also very successful around this time, with premierships in the late 50s and early 60s. However, due to a lack of numbers, the Wangoom Cricket Club folded in 1964, leaving the reserve without attendance and the gates locked. With the next generation of children now coming through, it was decided in 1974 to start a junior cricket team to compete in the then Hopkins and Nullawarra League. There were many working bees to construct a fence and lay a pitch. In 1980, fundraising was begun to raise money to construct a new cement block pavilion, which was opened in 1981. At this stage, the reserve was handed over by the committee to the then Warrnambool Shire Council, now the Moyne Shire Council. Over the years, the pavilion has been extended to 2 main areas, a deck and accessible toilets, which we see here today. From the 1980s to 2020, the Wangoom Cricket Club fielded up to 4 teams a weekend, having much success with teams winning premierships in most divisions, including A-grade premierships in 1987 and 2001. This period saw the Goomers become a destination club for many players, for its social events and community club culture. In 2021, the Grasmere Cricket Association ceased, leaving Wangoom with no association to compete in. The decision was made to join with the Woodford Cricket Club and form a new club called North Warrnambool Cricket Club. Unfortunately, this left Wangoom without a club and its history lost. In May 2024, a meeting of previous Wangoom cricketers and supporters was held with the plan of re-establishing a standalone Wangoom Cricket Club. Around 15 people attended the first meeting, and it was decided to go ahead and apply to the Warrnambool Moyne Cricket Association to enter the league as a standalone club. After a few initial setbacks, and with enthusiasm, the committee secured approval and was reinstated as the Wangoom Cricket Club. Working bees were had, facilities were dusted off, and, along with some old Goomers, a new breed of Goomers arrived to experience the benefit of a small community country-based cricket club. Sponsors were contacted and past players and supporters got involved through One for the Club. The Goomers got some money in the bank and were ready to begin again. It was decided to enter two men's teams, Division 3 and 4, a women's team and a junior team. A big ask to find these players, but Woongoom did, and a successful season was underway. The men's teams played well all season, with the Division 3 team making the finals. The women's team, the first Woongoom's women's team since the Woongoom's basketball team of the 1930s, had a great season, winning a few games and enjoying new friendships. The juniors competed well against other Warrnambool clubs and learned the skills of cricket. Socially, the club thrived with Thursday night teas and Saturday night functions. On many Thursdays, up to 40 teas were served by the kitchen volunteers. A past players and supporters day in January saw around 120 people enjoying themselves on the Sky Deck while watching the Woongoom's Division 3 team pull off a memorable victory in the last over of the game. As we head into the 2025-26 season, the Woongoom Cricket Club is ready to once again host players and supporters to its ground. We thank all the sponsors, One for the Club members, players and supporters for being a part of our club. And we hope to see you all during the season. Go Goomers!
The Macarthur Football Club, better known as the Demons, played their home games at the Macarthur Rec Reserve. Their footy story goes all the way back to 1891, when they played a scratch match against Penshurst. They didn't win that day, but it was the start of a long history of country footy in Macarthur. In 1911, the Demons joined the Hayward District Football Association before moving into the Hamilton District Football Association in 1920. Now 1921 is a bit of a mystery. Some records say that Macarthur stayed in the Hamilton District, while others say they played in the Port Fairy Football League, and even winning the premiership. What we do know is that in 1932, the Demons joined the Eumerella Football Association and won the grand final at Oxford, and stayed in the comp until 1925. After that, Macarthur moved around quite a bit. They went back into the Hamilton District for 1926 and 1927, then spent 3 years in the Port Fairy Football League from 1930 to 1932. From 1933 until 1938, they were a part of the Western District Football League, before switching to the Port Fairy Football League again in 1939 and 1940. Like many clubs, they didn't field a side from 1941 to 1944, with the Second World War putting a stop to football in a lot of country towns. When footy returned in 1945, Macarthur joined the Dunkeld District Football League, before heading back to the Port Fairy Football League in 1946. They stayed there for more than 2 decades, right up to 1969. In 1970, the Port Fairy, Portland and Glenelg leagues all merged to form the Portland Port Fairy Football League. Macarthur played in that competition until 1980. In 1981, the league rebranded as the Southwest District Football League, and the Demons continued to play there until the end of 1997. The following year, Macarthur entered a new chapter. In 1998, they merged with the Hawkesdale Cats to form the Hawkesdale Macarthur Eagles, who still compete today in the Minnera District Football League. The Eagles split their home games between the Macarthur Rec Reserve and the Hawkesdale Rec Reserve. Over their time as a standalone club, Macarthur won 10 premierships, depending on how you count that disputed 1921 season. Their flags include 5 in the Port Fairy Football League, 1921, 31, 50, 61 and 65. One in the Umaralla Football Association, 1922. One in the Portland Port Fairy Football League in 1970. And 3 in the Southwest District Football League, 1981, 88 and 95. Since the merger, the Eagles are still searching for their first senior premierships in the Minnera League. The story of the Macarthur Demons is one of resilience, change, and a proud community football tradition that still lives on today through the Hawksdale Macarthur Eagles. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this look back at the history of the Macarthur Demons, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out more stories on former and current football clubs. See you in the next one. Go Eagles.
In the middle, mate.
North Warrnambool, proudly known today as the Eagles, had a rich history shaped by the merger of two strong country clubs, Grasmere and Bushfield. Before becoming the Eagles, the club was originally called the Northern District Saints. Grasmere, known as the Magpies, played their home games at the Pernem Rec Reserve and were first formed in the early 1900s. Their journey through country football saw them compete in several different leagues: the Western District Football Association in 1910, the Warrnambool District Junior Football Association in 1919, and then the Southwestern District Football Association from 1920 to 1932. Even their juniors had a crack, spending a season in the Western District Junior Football Association in 1927. From 1939 to 1958, Grasmere played in the Pernem District Football Association, which later became the Pernem Football League in 1953, before they shifted to the Warrnambool District Football League from 1959 right through to 1985. Along the way, the Magpies collected 7 premierships, 3 in the Southwestern District Football Association in 1920, 1921 and 1928, 1 in the Pernem Football League in 1955, and 3 more in the Warrnambool District Football League in 1960, 1968 and 1972. Now Bushfield, known as the Bulldogs, were formed in 1900 and played their home games at the Bushfield Rec Reserve. They first wore violet and green before switching to blue with a white V, and finally settling on the iconic blue with red and white bands. Their early success was remarkable, winning 6 premierships in the Warrnambool District Junior Football Association between the years of 1900 and 1919. Bushfield then played in the Southwestern District Football Association from 1920 to 1934, with their juniors running in the Western District Junior Football Association in 1925. From 1935 to 1952, they lined up in the Pernem District Football Association, although there is some evidence they also competed in the Warrnambool Football Association in 1944 and 45. When the Pernem League rebranded as the Pernem Football League in 1953, Bushfield stayed until 1958, and then moved to the Warrnambool District Football League. From 1959 until 1985. Across their history, the Bulldogs were one of the most successful clubs in the region, winning 17 premierships in total. 6 in the Warrnambool District Junior Football Association, 5 in the Southwestern District Football Association, 5 in the Pernem District Football Association / Football League, and the Warrnambool District Football League Premiership in 1977. In 1986, Grassmere and Bushfield merged to form the Northern Districts. Known as the Saints, they played out at the Bushfield Rec Reserve. They competed in the Warrnambool District Football League until 1996, picking up a premiership in 1994. The following year, in 1997, the club stepped up to the Hampton Football League. However, because Koroyd had already been the Saints since 1961, Northern Districts had to change their name and jumper. And so, the North Warrnambool Eagles were born. Fast forward to today, and the story has come full circle. After years of hard work, building the club, and competing at the highest level in the Hampton League, the Eagles broke through in 2025 to win their first Hampton League premiership. North Warrnambool's history is one of tradition, resilience and triumph. From the Magpies and the Bulldogs, to the Saints, and now the mighty Eagles, this club has carried the spirit of country football through generations. And that's the history of the North Warrnambool Eagles. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And, as always, go Eagles. The South Warrnambool Football Netball Club, known proudly as the Roosters, is one of the most successful clubs in the Hampton Football League. The story begins in 1902, when the club was formed. From the very start, South Warrnambool made its home of Friendly Societies Park, a ground that has hosted generations of Roosters players and supporters. The club's identity was forged around its now famous colours, a white jumper with a red V, a design that defines the club today. In the early years, South Warrnambool competed in the Western District Football Association, beginning in 1904. It didn't take long for success to arrive. The Roosters claimed their first taste of premiership glory in 1912, 1918, and again in 1921. Establishing themselves as a powerhouse of the WDFA. In 1924, the club entered a new chapter when they merged with Warrnambool City to form the Warrnambool Blues. The merger was instantly successful, with the new side winning the premiership in the Warrnambool and Corangamite Football Association in its first season. But South's independent spirit couldn't be held back for long. By 1927, the Roosters re-emerged as their own standalone club, competing in the Western District Football League until 1932. Then, in 1933, they became part of something bigger, joining the newly formed Hampton Football League, where they have remained there ever since. Over the decade, South Warrnambool have built a proud tradition of success. Their first Hampton League premiership came in 1940, just before World War II. The Roosters struck again in 1954, and then another golden era in the 60s and 70s, with premierships in 1964, 1969 and 1974. But it was the 1990s that truly cemented their status as a modern-day powerhouse. Between 1990 and 1996, the Roosters won 4 Hampton League premierships, in 1990, 1991, 1994 and 1996, stamping their dominance on the competition. More recently, they've added flags in 2006, 2011, 2023 and 2024. Proving that the Roosters' spirit is still as strong as ever. In total, the club has now won 16 premierships, 3 in the Western District Football Association and 13 in the Hampton Football League. But South Warrnambool isn't just about senior men's football. The club has been a leader in inclusivity and community football. In 2013, the Hampton Hurricanes were formed as an all-abilities team, competing in the Football Integration Development Association's Western Conference. This gave players of all abilities the chance to represent their region in the game they love. In 2017, they became the South Warrnambool Hurricanes, building a strong connection with the Roosters. That connection was made official in 2023, when South Warrnambool invited them to become the club's all-abilities side. From that point on, the team competed as the South Warrnambool Roosters All Abilities, wearing the famous red V and carrying on the club's tradition. Since then, they've dominated their competition, winning back-to-back premierships. Today, South Warrnambool is more than just a football club. It is a community, with seniors, juniors, netball teams, and an all-abilities side, all united under the red and white. The Roosters' story is one of resilience, tradition, success, and inclusiveness. A club that has stood tall for over a century and continues to soar. Thanks for watching this history of the South Warrnambool Roosters. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more local football history. And go Roosters! The Southport Sharks are one of Queensland's most iconic football clubs, with a proud history dating back to their formation on May 22, 1961. Originally known as Southport Magpies, the club began training just 6 days later on May 28th at the Labrador Sports Oval. Their first match took place on June 25, 1961, where they took on the Central Australian Football Club, or Centrals, today known as Palm Beach Currumbin, and came away with their first victory, 58-47. In 1962, the club moved to Owen Park, competing in the Gold Coast Football League, or GCFL, from 1961 until 1982. During their early years, Southport wore a Collingwood-style black and white striped jumper. However, things weren't always smooth sailing. In 1963, the club nearly folded after a difficult end to the season. But the Magpies fought on and would soon become one of the region's powerhouse clubs. By 1983, a major change was on the horizon. When Southport joined the Queensland Australian Football League, QAFL, they discovered another team, the Sherwood Magpies, had already had the Magpies name. A coin toss was held to decide who kept the Magpie name, and Southport lost. From that moment, the Southport Sharks were born, complete with a new white jumper featuring a bold black V.
The Sharks quickly made their mark on the QAFL, where they played from 1983 to 2010. Over that time, the league changed names several times, becoming the Queensland State Football League in 1997, and then the AFL Queensland in 2000, before dissolving in 2012. By then, Southport had already moved on to join the newly formed North East AFL, or NEAFL, in 2011, where they remained until the league folded due to the pandemic in 2020. Since 2021, the Sharks have played in the Victorian Football League, or the VFL. Southport's home since 1989 has been Fankhauser Reserve, a ground that is set for major upgrades ahead of the 2032 Brisbane Olympics, boosting its capacity from 8,000 to 10,000. Throughout their history, the Sharks have built fierce rivalries with the Broadbeach Cats from 1971 to 2013 and the Gold Coast Suns 2011 till the present. The latter clash, famously dubbed the Coast Clash. On the field, Southport have been a dominant force, winning 23 premierships in total. 9 in the GCFL, 1961, 1962, 1964, 66, 75, 76, 77, 79 and 1980. 13 in the QAFL, 1983, 85, 87, 89, 1990, 92, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2005 and 2006. 1 in the NEAFL in 2018, which became infamous for having an extra man on the field in the last quarter. Despite Sydney, who they were playing against, calling for a head count, the Sharks kept their score and went on to win 90 to 35. In 1996, the club even made a bid to join the AFL itself, though it was ultimately rejected. Still, Southport remains one of the strongest and most respected clubs outside the AFL, continuing to build on its legacy as the pride of the Gold Coast. From humble beginnings as the Southport Magpies to becoming the powerful Southport Sharks we know today, this club's story is one of resilience, passion and success. With 23 premierships and a bright future ahead, the Sharks have truly earned their reputation as a Queensland football powerhouse. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe and comment below which club I should cover next. And go Sharks!
Today we are looking at one of the oldest and most interesting football clubs in Victoria, the Karamat Football Netball Club. Karamat, known proudly as the Swans, have a history that stretches back more than a century. The club was officially formed in 1882, but records show that football was played in Karamat even earlier. In fact, both Koroit and Hamilton played matches in 1875 at Karamat, before the Swans were formally established. In their early years, Karamat played at a ground on the corner of Gibson Street and Brand Street, right near the Hamilton Highway. This paddock-style oval served the club for decades, until the current ground was constructed in the late 1950s, a move that helped modernise the club and give it a long-term base. Over the years, the Karamat Swans has competed in 7 different leagues, reflecting the changing landscape of country football. These leagues are Karamat Football Association from 1921 to 1939, Penshurst District Junior Football Association from 1940 to 1946, though the league was in recess during World War II. The Quarry Hill Kirkstall League in 1946, the Hopkins District Football Association from 1947 to 49, after the league was reformed, the Port Fairy Football League from 1950 to 64, and finally the Minnanera District Football League from 1965 to today. Despite changing leagues several times, Calumet have shown incredible resilience and success on the field, with 14 premierships across multiple competitions. 6 in the Calumet Football Association, 1929, 33, 36, 37, 38 and 39, 1 in the Quarry Hill League in 1946, 1 in the Hopkins District Football Association in 1948, 3 in the Port Fairy Football League, 1954, 55 and 57, and 3 in the Minnanera District Football League, 1971, 94 and 97. One of the club's most memorable moments in recent club history came in 2018, when former AFL star Warwick Capper, famous for his high-flying marks and bright personality, pulled on the Swans jumper for a once-off appearance, as a part of the Footy Show's Spin the Wheel segment. On the day, Calumet went down to the Warndoo Mortlake Tigers in a high-scoring match, 67 to 138. But the occasion still remains as one of the most iconic and talked about moments in the club's modern history. The Calumet Swans is a club built on history, resilience and community spirit. From humble beginnings in the 1880s, to shifting through 7 different leagues, to securing 14 premierships across different eras, the Swans have continuously evolved while staying true to their red and white identity. With deep roots and strong pride, the Calumet Swans remain one of the great small-town football stories in Victoria. Thanks for watching the history of the Calumet Swans Football Netball Club. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me which club you want to see next. And go Swans.